I always thought the future of Central Otago was in the hills where we used to ride.
You can get up on some of those trails and you look out across the Hawktons and blue sky, autumn colours, cold crisp day, snow-capped Hawktons, just fabulous outlook, very peaceful. And because of the type of cycling, you've got to get tuned into the trails you're riding. You're not just hammering them, you've got to get focused. And so you switch off everything else apart from your environment, what you see and what you're doing. And it's just so peaceful and in touch with your bike and in touch with the trail and in touch with nature. We are blessed being here, and it's just so special place.
I mean, I had never realised how big the biking community was in Alex. Like, it's phenomenal. It's just that whole community of riding and mountain bike riding especially that is just so open-armed and just welcoming, and what more could you want? You know, you talk to people when we were thinking about shutting down and it was just like, don't do that.
Some of the old relics. There's a few old relics in here, so we'll open up the vault. You can hardly move. Yeah. So these are some of the bikes from the past. My early race bikes right at the back, the green one, it's hidden away. Yeah, so I just do these up, just going to the pub and stuff. And World Riders, I like them, they're made in Timaru. Just a Kiwi bike, just fixed that one up. And we've got the little one for my granddaughter, and I'm doing up a Stab Supreme DH bike at the moment. Got the wheels there and got it in parts, and an airborne titanium. And that's my next project with the Kona. And now my everyday rider, e-bike. That time's moved on. I'm Phil Oliver. I'm a rider from Central Otago in Alexandra, and have been for close to 30 odd years. Moved down here, 95, started riding, but in those days, fully rigid bike, pull brakes. You learnt the hard way, you learn how to handle a pretty horrible bike. If you get on them now, you just, yeah, it's not nice compared to the technology nowadays. Like the bikes progressed, so did the tracks. They progressed at the same time, so the tracks got better. Built better and got a little bit more extreme because the bikes could handle it. So that was sort of that progression thing, which was really cool. You could see all this potential for trails, so we started scratching out little lines here and there, and that's how that sort of trail system started. At the start, it was all under the table. There was only a few of us doing it, only a couple of us really, and keeping it pretty quiet. But it did progress, and we got a little bit more carried away, and then I'd sort of like have a race or something, and I'd approach one of the landowners or the farmers if I could run a race, and he'd say yeah. So that was a bit of a caveat to go and dig some more trails or fix up an old sheep line, I called it, and that's how probably 80% of those trails out there formed.
The Tangi Station is a stud farm. We've got 8,200 sheep on it. We mainly produce merino wool for the Italian market. Centenary year this year, so that's pretty exciting. The first I heard about Phil being out in the bushes was he'd got an event and he was allowed to do the event, but he needed more tracks. So he was out there, covert ops, hiding in the bushes, trying to make a track and not get found out that there was an extra track.
The old car would go past and we'd all duck behind a briar bush or something, or lay flat in a ditch.
They were out in winter because you dig in winter, and they were literally nearly hypothermic, him and another guy. And John caught them and he's like, "What are you lads doing?" Oh, well, we've got this event and we just needed a bit more time out there. And well, after a few words, I think John said, "Come on, this is ridiculous. It's snowing sideways, so you need to come and get warm." And he took them home and opened up the whiskey cabinet, and I think they had a few whiskies too many. And
the track got named Single Malt because of that. And then the track we built next to it later on got named On the Rocks, not because of the rocks, because of ice in the single malt, yeah. So that's how that one rolled out. But yeah, there was a few hiding under bushes jobs out there.
I think it grew from that point of being allowed to develop what is now here.
Back then I bought 4 bikes and decided that I was going to try and promote Central Otago as much as I could, and I bought 4 mountain bikes. They were the Vanty Ridge Riders, I think. All steel frames, no suspension or anything. And that was far too many because it was very unsuccessful. So it never really took off for me. No. It wasn't until the rail trail came along that we started to see some interest.
There weren't any other trails prior to the rail trail of a similar nature. There were plenty of mountain bike trails, but nothing where you could go out for a multi-day cycle ride and also involve a wider group of people.
And I never actually thought it would take off either, because to me it was sort of boring compared to riding up in the hills. But you know, most people can't ride the hills. That's where I was wrong, you know. So that was where the rail trail really came in.
Let's take a ride. Let's find a brook or stream, my friend. Who cares if we're a little late again? On to Niagara Black Mountain.
I never ever thought in my wildest dreams that there would end up being, I think, 5 bike shops in Clyde now. I could be wrong, there could be more. And every time I go through there, there's another van I've never seen before. It's bringing people down from other places to do our trails. It's just unbelievable. I would be here with the van and have the old stove going and hot drink, and my wife used to make nice muffins for them, and yeah, it just all helped, and give them a bit of encouragement if they were struggling to headwind like I just was. Yeah, that's great.
Alexandra per capita has the most bike riders out of any town or city in New Zealand, and it's, you know, whether or not that's a true stat, it wouldn't be hard to believe it. Especially with new people moving to the area, it's really common that they get a bike, or even if they haven't had one before, they'll get a new one or a second-hand bike, because it's just in the culture here. Like, you get a bike, you're going to ride, even if it is just up and down the rail trail, or to work or to school or whatever. It's just what you do here, which is really cool. You can ride any type of bike, you know, road, gravel, you know, cycle trail, mountain bike, you know, downhill. Any type of bike that you've got, you can use it, and use it on good trails, and it caters for pretty much it all. That Alex has got, you know, another really talented up and coming cyclist, but you know, Eddie's he works hard. That's what it comes down to. It's a sport where you have to work hard.
When you have to try and keep up with someone that's that fit, that strong, that experienced, you know, it just pulls you up to that level, and that's really what's pulled me up. Once you start doing it, you can't stop it. It's so addictive. You know, I just feel so lucky, to live in a place where you ride down the driveway and out onto the street, and then you're at the trails pretty much, and you go for 20 minutes and you feel like you're in the middle of nowhere. It's just pretty awesome to live in a place like that and be in a place where you've got so many options for training and racing and just riding in general. Just when you're in the hills, it's like you're away from everything. It's just a pretty cool feeling.
Yeah, I worked in a high-stress job, And it got to a point really when I was representing the flood victims, which was emotionally stressful as well as work pressure stressful, and it was impacting. And my doctor said that you've got to get your stress levels back down to normal, and you should commit to getting out in recreation. It sneaks up on you progressively, so much so that you don't know you're operating under that level of stress. And it was only when it started having a pain in the chest problem with me that I thought I'd better do something about it. I had to do something, and I really enjoyed the solution. And so I felt, well, thank goodness I enjoy mountain biking, and isn't this great? And so cycling on Matangi became both a fun thing plus a health thing for me. It certainly reinforced to me just how crucial Matangi Station is to our community's well-being. And you can see it now, you can see it with the young kids out there, how they love the challenges. And I can see that just so important to them, so important to those high school kids. So it's far bigger than just getting on a bike and going for a bike ride.
Alex is a pretty great place to go riding. Yeah, it's quite different to other places. You can actually ride up. Yeah, it's worth the ride up. Good variety of trails, and yeah, everything's pretty different. Like, rocks can move in different places, and you kind of never get the exact same track.
Yeah, I raced BMX from quite an early age, and then once I moved to Alexandra, sort of got into the mountain bike scene at high school through the after school rides, and then it took off from there. Started doing some local races like the Linger and Die. Had a bit of success at those over the years, and kind of just keep building from there.
It could be pretty on. Just a couple of light modifications. Should we give it a go?
Yeah, I've known Phil for,
Oh look, I got that bloke
I don't know, a few years now. Sort of just met him out on the trails, and he sort of took me under his wing at some stage, and then done a bit of riding with him, wee bit of trail building. Probably should have done a bit more with him, but always done so much for the trails here in Alex. He's always out there shifting rocks and building little lines and stuff, so yeah, we're pretty lucky to have him here, really.
Awesome evening. Hey boys.
Not bad. Not bad.
Yep, sun's out, guns out. Can't see a thing, getting blinded.
I can see for farmers, and particularly Matangi, this idea of opening it up formally to public access was quite huge because they're farmers, and sort of moving from farmers into people management is a totally different thing.
We'd got hunters, we'd got motorbikes, we'd got riders, we'd got walkers, runners, and it was all getting a wee bit messy and it was getting a little bit dangerous. And we'd also got stock moving, gates left open.
There was developing real concern by the farmers with public access, and the cyclists were concerned about the impact that would have.
So John basically from the start said, I'll help with whatever I can. And I said to him, well, I honestly don't know what to do. I don't know how to do it. I don't know what I need. I don't know anything other than I know we want to do it.
And the Sanders family agreed that if we could achieve a formal solution, they would be happy. First, the recreation permit with Lynn's, the Commission of Crown Lands, and then the much bigger resource consent. And it was huge because of the various elements that had to be complied with for that park.
Without him, we wouldn't have a bike park. Hands down, we would not have a bike park. He has done probably 500, 700 hours for nothing, just to get it up and running.
It was a matter of just get in there and do it and make it work, but it was huge. But my heart was in it. I wanted to see access for youth, I wanted to see access for the adult cyclists that I knew that mountain biking was a big part of their lives and recreation. And because Matangi Station is world class, I wanted to see it opened up to the wider public. We had had near 30 years access on the property and really enjoyed that. And my children had as well as they grew up. And so there was a debt really to the family and an appreciation.
It's the start of Old Coach Road. I haven't ridden up there for years and years. I used to ride up here with my wife and my kids. So this is going back to old times. But, it's good. It's good bringing back old memories.
Super proud of what he's done and super in awe of how much energy and effort he's put into it, and perseverance, man, that he has persevered through this for so long, just with continually having the hope that it will work out. He's almost had this certainty that it will all work out and there is a way to make it work for everyone, and he hasn't gone for like the easy route, he's gone for making sure that it's going to be sustainable in the future and not just thinking about here and now. We've developed journeys to try and make sure those kind of opportunities are available to lots of young females in our community. And I also love it when I hear that a couple of girls have gone out for a ride on their own together and they're doing it in their own time, and so they really see the value in it.
I'm more into the trail building now than I enjoy that just as much as riding. I just like seeing things. You see, you just spot something and you think, oh, we could join the dots. It gives you a bit of space. You can think about stuff. You don't have to worry about stuff. Or you can, if you've got something to worry about, you can outthink it. Like when we go out on Wednesday, we've got all the guys who sort of I grew up with that were little kids, and now they're adults with families, and then there's still the young guys coming out, and and the boys are all frothing on fixing the trails because they got to ride it. They're the ones riding it, so they build it the way they want it, and it's cool. Yeah,
I love riding them, and they don't build themselves, they don't maintain themselves, so it's pretty cool, and you get to see the tracks from a different perspective. Biking is life for me. That's what I love doing. It's what I want to do. It's you know, I come home from school and all I want to do is jump on the bike and go for a ride, or in the weekends what I want to do is go for a ride, do a race.
Living in Alex and having these trails in the backyard, you kind of take it for granted once you've seen a bit of the world and like what it compares to, like there's actually nowhere else like Alex in the world. And they are world-class trails.
All credit to particularly Helen and Brett for having the courage to embrace it and the challenge, taking on the challenge.
And luckily it went that way and didn't get the big deer fence around it and no one got into it, so that was the alternative, so it worked the right way. It's great, it's a community asset really.
The Great Rides has really been a bit of a game changer, and I think the growth would still happen, but definitely not as fast, and definitely not put a real spotlight on the area as much as it has. It's just great to see more people out on bikes and kind of bringing that bike culture into the mainstream, which especially in the last couple of years through those COVID times when biking really had to become, or just naturally became a more mainstream choice for people, and that's maintaining and growing, so that's been really cool.
Some places you might only have a road cycling community, or you might only have an enduro mountain bike community. Here you've got enduro, cross country, road, gravel, and then just people recreational cycling on the roads and on the trails as well.
Bikes definitely bring people together and bring any new people to the community. It is a really great way to get into the community and get to know the community.
How I met people in Alexandra. I got part of the community was going out biking with people, so yeah, it's very cool.
It would be awesome to see what it's going to be like in 10 years. I think there'll just be like massive amount of trail networks, around, all the little central Otago towns.
There's so much scope for tracks up here as well as on the mountain bike park. As long as there's a passionate community, it will keep growing.
I think it's just going to get bigger and stronger. If you had said to me 20 years ago, would Alexandra ever have a crankworks, I would have laughed at you. I went to the first crankworks in 2004 or something in Whistler. And then we get the summer series in Alexandra, and things like that. So you never thought that would have happened 15, 20 years ago. So who knows what's going to come up in the future. E-bikes will take over the world.
Bikers are out there as a group, and you can see the kids go out. They go out as a gang, and they'll challenge each other. And it's social, as well as challenging, as well as next to nature.
It's just awesome doing something that is just for fun. Being out in nature always makes me feel really grounded and fuels my soul. Plus doing something that's just super fun and forces you to just live in the moment, be in the here and now.
The community that we've got here in Alexandra is unbelievable. We've got old retirees, we've got really young kids, and we've got really, really hardcore professional riders. And when you get that mix of people together with different skill sets and different abilities, and they're all encouraging, it's such a nice environment to be in.